Today we're visiting artist Linda Hargett at her charming home in Fairhope, Alabama. Linda's lifelong passion for art shines through in the way she fills her space with meaningful pieces, many collected through years of dedication and love.
As a young girl, I just never could afford art. I'd buy it on layaway and eat red beans and rice, for a couple of weeks. It was just something I've always had a passion for.
With a keen eye for eclectic, colorful design, Linda is an expert at blending patterns, textures, and scale. She also shares some great tips for adding a little drama to any room.
I love a pedestal. I would have more of these if I could. And it just kind of gives a room a little more oomph. And you can put nothing on it, you can put a vase on it, you can put a statue on it. Pedestals they're a good workhorse in any house, I think.
What makes Linda's home truly special is how she breathes new life into collected objects, family heirlooms, and inherited treasures, turning everyday objects into stories that enrich her space.
The silver was from a great aunt who I never knew. Her name was Linda, and that's one reason she was the benefactor to me of her beautiful silver. So I use it every day. Life is short, and it's just what I do.
To watch Linda's full home tour ad-free, where she gives some expert design tips and offers a tour of her office, studio, and guest rooms, scan the QR code or click the join button below. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. I'm Allison Kenworthy, the founder of Homeworthy, and we take you inside the world's most beautifully decorated homes and introduce you to the brilliant people who live there.
Hi Homeworthy, I'm Liz Lang. Welcome to Grey Gardens.
Click the join button below to access all of our latest episodes ad-free and watch extended cuts of this and other homes, opening the doors to new rooms and exclusive content featuring our beloved hosts.
I can't wait to see, I'm so excited.
And if you're looking to shop items inspired by this and other Homeworthy tastemakers, be sure to use the product links below or scan the QR code on screen to find fabulous furniture, coffee table books, and accessories that can transform your house into a home.
Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Linda. Welcome to our house in Fairhope, Alabama. Come on in. I want to show you around. Hi, my name is Linda Hargett. I'm an artist and part-time interior designer, and welcome to my home in Fairhope, Alabama. A little over a year ago, a very good friend of ours, Greg and Lucy, decided to move a little closer to the beach. And when we heard that they were moving, we called them on a whim and just said, hey, what if we buy your house? Because I was kind of always looking at houses, which drives my husband crazy, because he doesn't really like change much. And then I said, Zeb, what if we buy Greg and Lucy's house? And he went, give me a few days. So a couple days later, he said, well, I'd have to buy a riding lawnmower. I went, okay, what do you think? So we called him back and said, we're gonna make an offer. And it all worked out. We put ours, they never really had to put this on the market. We put it on the market with just a pending or contingency or something. And then we had 30 days to get a contract on our house, and we got a contract in 1 day for full price cash. So we were all moved and done in 45 days. It just kind of snowballed. It was great. It was kind of intense. Don't want to do it again. But it really worked out. And they had built this house, I believe it was 2017 is when they moved into the house, so it's fairly new. We came in, they had done a great job, so we just came in and I put all my colors on everything because I'm more of a color person. And we did some landscaping and just a few, very personal things that we like to do to make our house like we like it. And it's been super, it's super. We are right in town or close to town. And to have this kind of space so close to town is is great. It's kind of a luxury for us because I like privacy, but then we're 5 minutes from anything we want to do. So that's hard to beat in this area. This is our living room, and we want this area primarily to be comfortable. Our sofas are bench cushion, which I think is super because they also can convert into single beds if we need that extra space. And the chairs are recliners, actually from West Elm, probably about 8 or 10 years ago. I had some really beautiful chairs that were a little non-functional in the comfort level, and at that point my husband, and he's right, said we've got to be more comfortable in here. This is where we spend 90% of our time. So we got that very, very straight for what we wanted, and most of the things in here are things we brought from our old house. This table is just an old, simple, rustic coffee table, but I love the height of it. It's a little higher than most coffee tables. So you can pull up some stools and little low seating, and we can eat off this table. We can do a lot of things. We can play cards here. It's worked really well for the size and for the space. Things that we have, you'll notice I have a lot of shells. And some of this came from my days. I used to work with the Nature Conservancy of Alabama and Louisiana, and days of oyster reef restoration, which is still going on a lot in this area. I collected some of the old shells, and I just had bags and bags of them. So over the years, I've used them in decorating, and I just love them. Others are from just trips we've taken. We pick up shells and rocks, and it's just memories of things we've done and places we've been. These little boxes are from my mom. She had a collection of these little beautiful cloisonne boxes, and I just kept them, and every time I look at them, I think of her. The base is full of things from our yard. All the bases here are full of things just from our yard, with a few little extras just thrown in just to give them more texture. Texture is very important to me. I kind of gravitate toward textiles and rugs and things of that nature. So we have kind of played up with that in a lot of these areas. The artwork here is good. The top one is one of mine, and then the bottom one is a very good friend of mine. She's quite well known. Her name is Rain Bedsole, and this is one of the things she'd done years and years ago. I love a pedestal. I would have more of these if I could. And it just kind of gives a room a little more oomph. And you can put nothing on it. You can put a vase on it. You can put a statue on it. Pedestals just go, they're a good workhorse in any house, I think. The colors have just worked for us in houses we've been in for years. I haven't really changed any of that. Again, I like to keep everything in my furniture kind of plain and neutral, and then use the accents and pillows and artwork. So we've done that here again. And a little table from my mom. These little blue trays we got in France last year when we were in Nice. Cute little artist shop, and the rocks are from the beaches there. So again, we just pick up odd things along the way. The fireplace was what they had done, what Greg and Lucy had done, and we love it. We hung the TV again, like we all do these days, over the fireplace. My little collection of shells, some bird's nests from our yard. And this particular painting is an old one I've had for years. It's a local artist named Joanne Cox. I love that splash of color. And then these three, there's quite a story behind this artist. Her name is Frantic. She died, oh gosh, probably 15 or 20 years ago. But she was a local artist. She was very prolific and was based out of Pensacola. At one point, I had a little shop in Fairhope when my kids were very young, and called the Purple Mullet, and she was one of my featured artists there. I used to go hang out and paint with her in her garage in Pensacola, but such a happy, wonderful, joyous lady. The frames around, two of them are frames I found, you know, in vintage shops, or I actually don't even remember where, and I would paint the frames and then put a Frantic in those frames. So that was just my touch on Frantic's work. But you'll see her work. I have probably 8 or 10 of her pieces around the house, and just love her style and her joy. There's a little book that's been published about her, and one of the local, Page and Palette, one of the local art galleries here, Line Share, also carries a lot of her work, from estates and that type of thing. So she is one of our local treasures, I believe. Little things here. This book, a friend of mine, which I just am adoring, is about the highwaymen. It's a book about Florida's African-American landscape painters in the 20s and 30s, and it is fascinating when you read about them and their style. I just had borrowed it from my friend Eleanor. The shells, the mantle was here, the good piece of wood that they had put up here. And then I just accented it with some shells. Again, these plants are all from our yard, the fern and the palmettos are things that we have in our yard. Little vase from my mom. This print I love. I've used in a lot of places. I've used it also in my dining chairs. I think it's just a kind of simple accent that gives a little graphic design and kind of kicks off a little bit of white and crispness in a room that could be a little drab. When we first came here, they had just moved in, and I helped Lucy a little bit, kind of style it out. And then a few years later, they put in the pool and the outdoor kitchen. And so, like I said, we came here often. We didn't live far. We lived in a pretty neighborhood not far from here that we actually liked a lot. But this, with the pool and the outdoor kitchen, had a lot of appeal for us. And just, it just worked out so easily. So that was it. And they did a great job putting in that pool and outdoor kitchen. It's beautiful and easy. And other than, the riding lawnmower, we didn't have to do that much. Was it challenging to make it mine is something I like to do. I kind of do that. I've moved, 8 or 10 times in the past 20 or 30 years. So that part is just a energy thing for me. I get in there and I think about it a lot. And with this one, all I could think of was I wanted the dining area to be chartreuse. And so I went from there and started thinking about what we could do just to make it, like I said, more us, more ours. I have lots of art, and I always start there, hanging my art and where that should go. And they move around a lot, the paintings. Most of them are mine, some of them are other people. A lot of them are local people that I've just admired for years. And as a young girl, I just never could afford art. I'd buy it on layaway and eat red beans and rice, for a couple of weeks. It was just something I've always had a passion for. So that part was really fun for me. I don't know how fun it is for my husband, but he's very tolerant of my need to move things around and tweak it a lot. The people that own the home are very, very good friends. In fact, we just went on a big trip together, and we still see them often. They're about 45 minutes away, and we don't see them as much as we did, but we've stayed very close, and they love, I think, everything we've done with their house, now our house. So it's worked out really well. It's all fenced, great for dogs. We have a lot of company, which we love, and we always have liked that. We have 5 boys between us. None of them live here, and their families, and so they love to come and stay and do. They've never had a inkling to live in Fairhope, but I think they all like to come visit. So we're glad we have that. This is our dining area. When we bought the house, this was set up a bit differently. They had a dining table over here on this side and a chandelier, pretty round table and chandelier, and had a book area over here, kind of a little mini library with 2 comfortable chairs and bookshelf full of books and, a good lamp, and that worked for them. I've had this table for several years that I bought from a very good friend at Atchison Imports probably 10 years ago. And I love it because it's so long and skinny. You can see a lot of people. We can see 10 people here. And it also has little drawers, which I don't know if you can see that, but little drawers that pull out that serve as my mini office right here, or little treasures for our grandkids. So this has become quite the centerpiece, I think, of the house. I found this light fixture, it's linen. I found that in a pretty beautiful botanical shop in North Carolina, and I just enjoyed that and the drama that it brings to the space. Again, I have the oyster shells. This beautiful bowl is a potter from, I believe she lives in Bay St. Louis or Biloxi. Her name is Lisa. And these candlesticks are actually quite a treasure. These are a wedding gift to me. And these were Ron Myers, who's pretty well known now nationally in the sort of functional potter world. He's based in Athens, Georgia, but he's also lived in New York. I believe he is from Rochester or the Brooklyn area, but he's been based at the University of Georgia, but he's taught all over the country. So I'm kind of honored that I still have these and they've made it through all my moves and all my different staging. These little bud vases, a good friend of mine who is a potter named Shelley Lee made these for me when my oldest son got married, and we used them at the rehearsal dinner and just scattered them around all the tables there, and have done just what I did here was just put wildflowers in from the yard. The place settings are just fun. I change it all the time. Have a little bit too many napkins and a few too many place cloths and all the good things. The silver was from a great aunt who I never knew. Her name was Linda, and that's one reason she was the benefactor to me of her beautiful silver. So I use it every day. You know, life is short, and it's just what I do. It's easy, and it looks pretty. The chairs and all this I've had for years. These chairs were actually my mother's, and they were brown and Chippendale, pretty wood, and I spray painted them white, about 8 or 10 or 15 years ago. And the others are just Parsons chairs. I've changed these slip covers often. I have pink, I have lavender, I have white, I have a black and white check. So it just depends on the mood. And they have, again, made it easy for me to change my mood or my theme for whatever I feel like doing that year. Over here, when we first bought the house, I didn't know if we were going to keep this because I like to have walls for art. But the more I thought about it, and after we moved and had given away, 40 boxes of books, by the time we moved, then I thought I just do want to keep some of our books. And so a good friend of mine came over and we just worked on this book, and she did most of it, but I just love how it's turned out, and that it just reflects a lot of the things that we have and we do. This again is one of my friend Rain Bedsoul's little works of art, and I have several of these kind of up in here. This vase is from a potter friend of mine, again, Shelley Lee. She also always puts these little birds on there. These are interesting. My husband has done a series of these. You'll see this and the Statue of Liberty. There's a clay here along the bay in the Montrose area, which is right up the road. That's very special for potters, and this was a big potter community early on when Fairhope and Montrose and the Eastern Shore was first populated. So you can go get the clay and you can hand build a lot, which he did as a young man sitting on the wharf of his family bay house. And they, and it was a project he did with his kids. We had several of these, a few of them are broken over the years, but I love the treasure and the memory of him sitting there doing that with his family. Bird's nest again from our yard, and lots of interesting books. Again, a few more Rain. Let me get over here and show you this. Another Rain Bedsoul, another Rain Bedsoul. The picture is a local potter named Zach Serkey, and he is quite well known and a great guy. He has a big wood fire pottery studio here. And we've gone over there and done a little shopping from time to time. We've done stories on him in our newsletter, Scenic 98 Coastal. There's a good story on Zach. He teaches often around here. Also, this chair I think is really unique. It was a gift from a friend of mine when she moved, and she I was just like, if you give me that chair, I'll help you anytime with your house. And she did. She gave me both of them. So it's worked out well. And that's my favorite thing about this corner. I think this corner is really one of my favorite spots in the house. It just has such personality and charm. And it's just a combination of all these good friends and talented people who shared their talent with me over the years. This handmade paper piece up here was a gift to me, and that's again Joanne Cox, who did the big painting by my fireplace. That was one of her paintings that she did. This little piece is an artist who shows often at arts fairs in the South, and I picked it up at the Eastern Shore Arts Festival that is in March every year. Her name is Maggie Greyer. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. And this little piece was from an art gallery down at Grayton Beach, and I'm drawing a blank on the name of it, but it's right there across from the Red Bar. If any of you have been to Grayton Beach, you would know the place. But so this has given me a place where I can just put all kinds of what I think are personal treasures and things, again, that people have given us or have shared with us over the years. The wall color was just my first inspiration for this house, and I believe it is Sherwin-Williams Chartreuse, I think is the name of the color. These window treatments I've had for several years. They've been to several houses, and they were from West Elm. There's panels from West Elm several years ago. The tassels I just picked up and threw over the rod, from a fabric store, and I think it gives it a little more drama. It gives a little weight to the fabric because they're very light. This is one of my paintings. I have lots of palm tree paintings, and this one I love because I finished the edges in gold leaf. I did a little border that has a little dimension to it, and the edges are done in gold leaf, so there's a pair of those. Also, I don't want to forget about Frantic. We talked about her early, and I have lots of bowls and dishes and little plates that she's done. So this was a Frantic. Just what a talent, what an incredible little lady she was. So over here, these two pieces, this I had for years. This is, I don't know who the artist is, I don't remember, but I got it at the Pensacola Art Fair like years and years ago. This is one of mine, one of my abstracts, and this one was one of my mom's. I just love that composition. I just think the colors and the landscape it's just beautiful. This is one of mine. My husband calls this my self-portrait. I think it's a little dramatic, but he might have a point there. I do love her. I like her necklace. It'd be like a little throat. Here, this is a very talented young artist friend of mine named Jordan Atchison, who I think is one of the local treasures we have here. This piece of furniture is interesting. My former husband, he's deceased. He had a father who was a very well-known furniture builder in the area. And one of the pieces we inherited from him was this pine hunt board. Over the years, I'd used it as, the pine piece, but when I moved at one point, I took it to an auto body shop and had it lacquered. I don't think they do that much anymore because I've been back a couple of times and they're not really, as I say, doing that anymore. But I love how it turned out and gave it a contemporary flair. And these knobs are just from Hobby Lobby. You just can go in there sometimes and hit a little gold mine and find little treasures there that'll just change the look of a piece of furniture. These are more little Frantic, little plates that she does, little jewels. I have a couple of them here. And this one, her little lady. She did have a lot of little ladies in her repertoire. And the lamps are I think these are my favorite lamps in the house. These I got from a friend's business in Mobile called Atchison Home. And I just think they give a modern touch to this kind of eclectic room. And I like a little mix. I like modern, I like old, I like a little bit of brown wood. I like painted furniture. And I think when you blend it together, it gives it more style than just having a room of all one design style, like all modern or all rustic. I think the blend is what works for me. My design style, I think, is pretty eclectic, and a lot of this is things I've accumulated over the years. The art I've just been collecting for years and years, and I've given a lot away. I've sold a lot. I sell things off the walls, and I also sell in a local place called the Garage Studio here in Fairhope and Point Claire, and it's just sort of worked out that I've been able to keep that going. I graduated with a BFA in Applied Design, which is sort of a, I guess it would be just like a gumbo of things that are like, I had landscape course, I had painting courses, I had photography courses, but I never had enough of one thing to say, oh, she should be a graphic designer or she should go straight into, I just had a little smattering, which was great. And I worked through that for a while, and then my career mostly was in philanthropy development for nonprofits. I worked for some great nonprofits over the years and did a lot of development and fundraising for them. And on the side, I've always painted and always done a little interior design for friends and referrals. So it's kept that spark going for me all these years. When I retired a few years ago, I kind of went full speed into that, my painting and a little design. But we also have an online newsletter that we call Scenic 98 Coastal. We've been doing for 3 years, that my husband and I do. And it keeps us very busy. We have a lot of followers in the area from Mobile to Pensacola. And it's just given us so much energy to do and find restaurants and day trips and art and music and all the things that we enjoy that we can share with other people, particularly people who've just moved to the area. What I love about Fairhope and what we call the Eastern Shore, which is the area from Mobile to the beaches. It goes along Mobile Bay. I grew up summering there, just on boats. We have rivers, we have bays, we have the Gulf of Mexico, 30 minutes down the road. It's just, we kind of have a little bit of everything right here, and it's it's very unique, I think, in certain ways. It's also very casual and easy. We're not overcrowded. We just are a little laid back. Upper Florida is more what we are than anything else. If you look at the map, we're just kind of part of the panhandle, but we're still called Alabama. The kitchen has been a great kitchen. They did a great job here with storage and the way we can work around the island. I love that they painted the island a darker color. We had this little bar. Well, I found this little bar on Facebook Marketplace, and it was the perfect size just to tuck over here and still give you plenty of room to move in this area because it's a little bit tight. So the bar has been fun, and it holds a lot of important things like tonic and soda and whiskey. This painting was one of my mom's, and it's from a good friend of hers and a good friend of our family, B. Tucker, and she was quite prolific, quite great, well-known artist locally, and was the first lady that I took art lessons from after I finished college. I used to go sit in her studio and take some lessons, and she was such a generous teacher and mother of a really good friend of mine. Over here, this is actually an ice bucket that my friend potter Shelley Lee did and gave to us all. Gave her good friends a beautiful ice bucket. I put flowers in it today, along with this little bowl is one of hers. And we just put all kinds of different things on the island. This time I just put a lot of fruits and vegetables. Over here, I have some little shell dishes that Shelley also made. They're just little beautiful little jewels of treats. And a few artwork. This artwork is mine. These abstracts and also this little palm tree. I think my favorite thing in this room is this chandelier. And I point this out because I moved it twice, house-wise, and I bought it at a yard sale. It was, I think it's an 80s sort of resin gold chandelier and had some little plaid shades on it and all. But I just love the impact it has, and also that it just seems to work everywhere I go. In my old house, I had it over the, I don't remember if I had it over the dining table or the kitchen island, but here I knew I wanted it over this kitchen island just to give it a little more personality. I want to show you where I do my artwork now. In my old house, I had a beautiful space that I just spread out everywhere. And here I've contained myself, which is actually good for me because I'm not quite as messy. But I paint here in the corner in the laundry room. I have a window, I have a sink, I can go outdoors and work out there. But this has worked out really well, and this is this painting is a commission I just finished for someone, and I need to get that to the store. These I've started working on. These are letters that I've been painting over that were my great-grandmother's letters to my grandmother. Interesting to read those, and when people that was their primary way of communicating. They're just beautiful, and the way they were written is so beautiful. So I've just taken a few of these, and I'm not sure where I'm going with that, but I'm going to do something interesting with that. But yeah, this has become a great little nook for me to paint when I feel inspired. It's worked out just fine. This is our bedroom, and our bedroom is also Sophie, a rescue dog. She's 4.5, and Dakota, who's 14.5, both rescue dogs. So they think this is their bedroom too, which actually it is. Oh, you don't have to growl. You don't have to. Okay. In here, this is a wonderful room. We really enjoyed this. These colors were already here. The soft gray wall and the dark gray ceiling. I love the drama of that. This painting over the bed is one of mine. It's one of the large palms that I have a couple of those, which I love it in here just for the drama. It's like having another window in the room looking out on somewhere we don't live, but we like to go visit. Over here we have several pieces of art. This is a Russian artist. I believe that's a local person. This little print I got in a flea market in France. And another one of my husband's great clay sculptures that he does from the clay at Mobile Bay Bluffs. Over here in this room, I was so happy to have a place. This is my great-grandmother's secretary that she wrote all those letters that I just talked about in the art studio, wrote the letters on here. And, again, having a piece like this gives room, I think, a lot of weight and a lot of personality. And, it's a good sentimental piece. I have some old family photographs in there. Again, shells everywhere, but it's a beautiful piece, and the memories are good. Over here on this wall, a couple things, friends of ours that are photographers. And then this piece is from Diane Real Dean. My husband wanted that one when we went up to her studio north of here in Stockton. She's got quite a lot going on up there. Other pieces that we have in here that are interesting. Zeb bought this for me recently. It's a local artist, Jan Hill, and kind of sums it up about my passion for collecting shells. You saw it, said I had to get you that. This piece is I love, and that was also one of my mother's. She collected a lot of art and probably was the inspiration for me in getting art before I got food sometimes. She had a lot of friends who were artists, and she also had all kinds of incredible art throughout her house. So my sister and I think, shared a lot of that when she passed away, and we gave a lot to our children. So we've been lucky that we had this. Again, another one of the fabulous chairs from my friend. And I have to talk a little bit about this painting up here. This has started me on my passion for painting palm trees. I did this was my first one I did, and I'd taken a course here at the local Eastern Shore Art Center, and it incorporated India ink, which I never worked with before. But the colors in India ink are so rich, and I don't know, it was a good mixture of mediums. So I do watercolors, I do acrylic, a little India ink, and that's That painting is a combination of all these things. This pier mirror I picked up for, I had to tell you, $25 at an estate sale. It's kind of falling apart, but we keep dragging it around from house to house, and it's just another one of those quirky things. All of a sudden when you see it, if you grab it, you worry about where it's going to live later. The rugs in here, when we came into this room, the room is so large that I knew I needed a big rug to ground it. And actually these rugs, the seagrass rugs that I have here and the one in the dining room, I got from Lowe's. They can go up to some pretty big sizes there. The Kaleem I have all over the house, and all of my Kaleems I've had for, I don't know, 20 or 30 years. They've been through lots of dogs, lots of moves. They a little tattered, a little worn, but that's what I love about them. The curtains and window treatments here, these curtains, I just wanted this color in here just to warm up the room a little bit. And they also were from, I believe they were from West Elm last year. Just simple little velvet curtains that gave this room a little bit of warmth and brought in that good soft apricot color that, and I don't know, just changed the whole vibe in the room. The blinds, Facebook Marketplace. So there's some tips for you there. If you pay attention to these things, you can save a lot of money. You know, high end, low end, I don't think it matters to me. When I come in, I just know when I like it. This area is our screen porch, which we use a lot. Zeb is out here every morning drinking coffee and catching up on the day's news or whatever it is he done. And this has just kind of evolved with a mishmash of things that we've had for years. Little table from a antique mall. This was a very inexpensive sofa. I just keep piling pillows on to make more comfortable. This little blue table was again from funny little, it was a gift actually from a friend that we found at a funny little antique mall down toward the beach. This is sweet potato vine that I'm rooting because I use this a lot in planters, so it's being rooted in a pickle jar. This piece I love. We got this years ago when we were down at the beach in Florida, just another little funky gallery. We picked this up. Old bleached turtle shell I found in a yard somewhere. These corbels, I've had, oh my gosh, I don't even know, probably 35 years. I just keep dragging them around. We used them as brackets for a table in our old house. They were on the entrance hall, and we had a beautiful wood slab, excuse me, on top. But these corbels, I believe, came from an old church somewhere. Little funny bowls and shells and all the things that we just pick up over the years. This rocking horse, my children's grandfather made for my oldest son, Fraser, when he was born, and he's now 40. So that gives you an idea of when that was done. This table is a pretty little wicker table that I picked up at an antique mall, I believe, somewhere, with a cool little tray from Home Goods. So we've got a little bit of everything here. Most of this, again, is just nothing expensive, nothing precious, that we've just sort of pushed all together and made for a comfortable seating place. We spend a lot of time out here in the winter because the fireplace is fantastic. And then there's football weekends where we have people out here inside, and then we have another TV out by the grilling station out by the pool. So it's a fun house for doing those kinds of afternoons. Let's go check out the pool area. It's a beautiful day. Come on, girls. This is our pool area. This was already here, the beautiful stone and the little, well, certainly not a lap pool, it's just a sipping and dipping pool. But it's been wonderful to have this here. We've done a lot of landscaping here, and it's only been a year, but it's amazing how quickly things grow and watching to see how it evolves. Through the years, we've really created more of a butterfly garden here. And over in this particular area, we've planted a lot of things that are things that attract butterflies. This time of day, well, there's a beautiful dragonfly. It's a little bit quieter. They're here early in the morning and they're here in the late afternoon. But we have bougainvillea, we have milkweed, we have, of course, vitex, which is a big butterfly tree. So they love all of these plants and really thrive on coming here. It's good to see. I can't wait to see it in a couple of years when it really fills out and blooms. We planted a lot of fruit trees along the edge of the yard and some blackberries. We have grapefruit, we have lemon, we have lime, and I think we have a satsuma. We did have a big satsuma, which is a local orange that grows here, but we had a freeze last winter that took care of that one. But other things are coming back, so we're happy with that. Beautiful plumbago here. And this with the dark purple bloom is called a butterfly bush. And this is a crepe myrtle that found its way here. And we have olive trees. They're new, so we're hoping to get them established and create a little bit more height and variety out here in this yard. There's Texas sage, there's pentas, and the variegated lily you see are called flax lilies. This is our outdoor cooking shed, I call it. It's so well designed, and we've got a lot of things going here. We have an ice maker, we have a place for a deep fryer, we have a little refrigerator, and of course the green egg. We'll be cooking some grilled fish there tomorrow night. I hope that's the plan. It's been a terrific area. We use it a lot, and it's one of the reasons that we love this house so much, because we've used it a lot when our friends lived here too. So we've got a good feeling about how this can work out. Old furniture that we just brought from other houses. These rockers were again at Zeb's family's bay house. They were on the porch there, so they have made it through lots of years and a lot of rocking. Wrought iron that I had at my old house. Some of it's from my mother's house, some of it's from Zeb's mother's house. So we just keep adding to it, and every couple of years we spray it black again and keep on going. When I think of the word home, I always think of comfort and how can it be comfortable, how can it function easily so that it is comfortable, and also how can it bring beauty to your life, how can it bring joy and beauty in a way that it just makes you more content when you are home. Thanks for coming to see us in Fairhope, Alabama, Homeworthy. We're gonna go back and paint and produce our newsletter, Scenic 98 Coastal. I hope you'll come to see us again soon. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.